Oh, well, that's just me trying to be fancy. I just want to make sure I look right because I'm one of those vanity-driven individuals.
Oh, yeah, we gotta look good.
All right, Mr. DeMille, I'm ready for my close-up. Hello and welcome to Moviehouse Mystics, where the magic of movies come to life. I'm Kevin Gainey.
And I'm Cody Yule. So, we're back.
Yeah, we tried to save the world and failed, so we humbly return to our podcast.
Probably where we belong, but let's ease into this. It's my pick for this episode, so you have the fun fact. What do you got for us this time?
So, when we think about the storming of the Bastille on the 14th of July, 1789, that kickstarts the French Revolution.
Bastille Day.
And what really incentivized everybody in the region at the time to do this was it was already a powder keg of political tension. And there was one prisoner that was being held at the Bastille, the infamous Marquis de Sade. He's the guy who the term sadism comes from. And he's screaming out the window, "Oh, they're torturing us. They're doing all these terrible things to us." And so the mob eventually storms the Bastille, where they're getting all the weapons that are going to help in this revolution. But at the same time, they find out the Marquis de Sade, he's been transferred out of the prison. And in reality, there are only 7 lonely and confused inmates in there wondering what the hell's going on. So this was all caused by a panic by the world's greatest pervert.
Incredible. The French never disappoint.
Oh, we love the French. We don't want to beat up on them too much. They've given us so much.
Yeah, a lot of good Monty Python material.
Oh!
Oh, right. So this is our first episode back in 2026, so we have to mention it. Public Domain Day. We had a bunch of awesome stuff enter at the start of the year.
Yes, Betty Boop. We can use all the Betty Boop that we want.
We can use specific early versions of her. It's not a free-for-all, Kevin. We went over this with Mickey. As Yogi might say, it's like deja vu all over again.
You can't get everything you want. But what else made it into the public domain?
Well, a bunch more of the Mickey Mouse shorts, the Barnyard Concert, the Chain Gang, and of course, Minnie's Yoo-Hoo.
Huh?
You know, I'm the guy they call Little Mickey Mouse. Got a sweetie down in the chicken house. Not hot, nor skinny, it's my little Minnie Mouse.
Look, you singing it is not going to tell me what the song is, all right? I still don't know it.
I thought I could help.
Yeah, well, you clearly have Disney on your mind.
Oh, yes, I was recently on the Disney Destiny, one of their newest cruise ships, where they give you the full immersive experience.
Does that have anything to do with our movie today? It is your pick, after all.
I love how you're pretending like this is some mystery, like we didn't, produce the episode and write it. We're not smartless. But yes, we are doing Beauty and the Beast.
Ah, yes, the classic that told the world that Disney animation was back on top.
Oh, yes. Would you look at that? We got a new crystal ball.
Ooh.
But is that your pitch, Kevin? Because that would probably be mine.
Just about. I mean, if we're going to cover all the animated classics and left this out.
I think that'd be a faux pas.
Oh, en français. Oui, oui.
All right, you're getting carried away. We don't need to get to this Monty Python level.
Well, the thing about Disney and besides the animation itself and the music has to be the legendary characters whose legacies go way beyond the original movies. A lot of memorable characters here. You got a favorite, Coda?
I would say, despite her very short screen time, the wardrobe, Madame Delagrande Bouche.
That's quite a name.
Yes. Fun fact, that's actually the character's name in the stage show, not the movie. Madame de la Grande Bouche, meaning My Lady of the Big Mouth.
All right, that sounds a little suggestive.
One for the adults. But yes, in this film, she's voiced by Joanne Worley, a comedian some of our more vintage listeners probably would recognize.
Well, sorry, moms, but age is inevitable.
Hey, I still get looks when I order a Happy Meal at McDonald's. Otherwise, I feel like Mermaid Man with his adult-sized Krabby Patty. I want an adult-sized Krabby Patty.
Yeah, but you can't finish it.
Fair. So, who is your favorite character?
Well, I gotta say, Lumiere, the candle. I love his campy French accent.
Yeah, that also totally gives Monty Python. Yes, and then there's Gaston, grandiose and ridiculous, perfect for a Disney villain.
So, if you remember the song from the tavern, that line where he says he eats 5 dozen eggs every morning, that is 60 eggs. Considering the era, 18th century France, there's a scarcity of resources. Gaston is eating everybody's food, and people are starving. I'm sorry, that's straight up gluttony.
Wow, watch the language. Look, it's a Disney song. They use hyperbole all the time.
Yeah, but as long as it's Disney animation, it's a possibility.
You're not wrong. And my favorite thing about the song, other than the fact it's so cleverly named Gaston.
Gaston!
Yeah. It has to be the fact that he goes on about using antlers in all of his decorating, and it's like, that's some sort of ideal personality trait, not just a decorating preference. I mean, I guess arguably it's better than causing famine in the village or spitting across the room. To each their own.
Well, we also got to focus on LeFou, the guy who's slavishly devoted to Gaston. I mean, I know in the live-action version they made him gay.
Kevin. He's gay in this version. They may not spell it out, but come on.
Kind of the only way it explains his devotion to Gaston. I mean, he's the most bombastic deviant in France.
And that includes the Marquis de Sade.
Oh, well, thank God that Belle's dad Maurice didn't end up there. I mean, what's the tarot card pick?
All right, so I picked Strength for this movie. I think it represents a lot of what this movie's about. The Lovers is the one that a lot of people probably would have gone with, and I think that's just a little too... It's more than a love story. It's about characters growing on themselves, working with other people to help them get better. I think this one is the right choice for this one.
I mean, yeah, the Lovers would have been too easy because it's romantic, obviously, but that's... Anybody can make a romantic setting, but to have the story be interesting, yeah, you gotta add depth. So I think that's where the tarot card of strength comes in, definitely.
Absolutely.
Well, I guess I could pretend you didn't ask me to bring this up under some modesty ruse, but you actually visited Disney's animation studios during your time in LA.
I did, and actually I still have the Disney ID badge. You can see Mickey on there from when I did, but... We'll throw up a couple photos here where they seem like they might fit. It was quite an experience. I think our time in this episode, though, is best spent contextualizing the film rather than just giving an overly detailed chronology of Disney's entire animation history. That might need to be its own episode.
Oh, yeah, true. But I think for us to truly appreciate the Disney Renaissance, we do have to have at least a brief coverage of the Disney Dark Ages. Coda, out of the two of us, you're obviously the bigger Disney fan. Do you want to fill us in?
Yeah, so Disney and his brother Roy died by 1971, and the next 18 years led to the impression that Disney animation had lost its way. There's different theories as to why they went about trying to streamline the process using xerography. They were struggling with financial stuff, personnel issues. They started also facing competition. One of their key animators, Don Bluth, left and started making his own movies, like The Secret of Nymph and The Land Before Time. He took 17% of the animation workforce with him as well, so that didn't help things.
Japanese anime was dominating the market too, right?
Oh, absolutely. But with Disney, the tipping point was probably the Black Cauldron.
I remember seeing that as a kid.
Yeah, it became a cult classic. What did you think?
There's a reason I only watched it once.
A ringing endorsement.
You heard it here first, folks.
But at this time, there's a changing of the guard, and three guys ultimately set Disney on a new course. Michael Eisner as CEO, Frank Wells as President and Chief Operating Officer, and our friend, of course, Jeffrey Katzenberg.
Ah, yes, Katzenberg. We spoke about him during our Muppet Christmas Carol episode.
But it wouldn't be Disney without a fairy tale ending. They had hits like Oliver and Company, The Great Mouse Detective, and Who Framed Roger Rabbit. And they finally took on a project that had been in development hell since the 30s. The Little Mermaid.
When this finally was released in 1989, people were raving about it as if it were a Broadway show. I mean, you love pointing this out. The Little Mermaid experimented with a new animation process that changed everything.
Yes, experimenting is a good word. It's a system known as CAPS, Computer Animation Production System, which allowed for a hybrid animation process where you had hand-drawn and then computer-inked workflow, which enabled some eventual stuff like that awesome crane shot in the ballroom scene in today's movie, Beauty and the Beast.
And the best part, Don Bluth's movie, The Land Before Time, it premiered the same weekend as The Little Mermaid, and it came in second place.
Now that's a Disney ending.
But then Beauty and the Beast comes along, and everyone's figured out, oh, it's a new era for Disney.
Oh, yeah, and this kept going with Aladdin, The Lion King, Pocahontas, Hunchback of Notre Dame, Hercules, Mulan, and Tarzan.
I saw plenty of those during the theatrical runs.
Yeah, so with that context, I think we can better understand some of the things about Beauty and the Beast, which was also in development hell since the 30s. Prior to this film, the animators were the ones primarily creating and telling the story. But with this new model, they relied heavily on a new role known as the story supervisor.
Elaborate on that.
To the best that I understand it, basically the director had a script and a vision, and the story supervisor acts as a project manager and makes it happen. There's a general plan that gets divided up, and it's rather than just kind of making it up and winging it as you go along.
And there is a French adaptation of Beauty and the Beast that came out in 1946. This had household objects coming to life. So Disney decided to take this concept a step further with not just the Beast being cursed, the prince, and being transformed into his current state, but the rest of the staff and the castle are transformed into the household objects. Cogsworth the butler becomes the clock. The rebellious Maître de Lumière becomes the candle. And Mrs. Potts, the head housekeeper, becomes the teapot.
It's a little weird that they were, I guess, named those things before transforming into the objects, but let's probably not overthink things. I mean, it's a Greek chorus. It's as simple as that. Distinct, familiar personalities commenting on the action and offering comic relief.
Gaston, though, he's an entirely original character. Not in the fairy tale, and he's not in any other adaptation. Disney had to create him as the movie's necessary antagonist.
And some people criticize Disney for just telling stories that someone else wrote. I could see that to some extent, but a ton of those elements are just great examples that they add a lot of new stuff. They may keep the basic framework of the original stories, but they add so much that wasn't there before.
Look, there have been countless retellings of classics like these throughout the years, and they all have their merit. This is just Disney's version. It's distinct, and it has its own merit. My theory is the people who make these complaints are just upset that some people think that Disney's version, the family-friendly version, is the standard. I mean, they think that everyone takes this for granted. I mean, this is what we call the Disney effect.
I agree with that in theory. I think also there are a lot of people that just need to complain about something with righteous indignation and probably couldn't even tell you what Disney added or changed because they themselves aren't even familiar with the original work. They're wonderful folks to debate.
But love Disney or hate them, it's amazing how they can bring back almost all the key actors for their direct-to-video sequels and their spin-offs. I mean, in other cases, you generally need a budget-friendly cast for that.
Yeah, like Jim Hanks voicing Woody. He's Tom Hanks' brother.
But in this case, this includes Paige O'Hara, she originally voiced Belle, Robbie Benson as the Beast, Richard White as Gaston, Joanne Worley as Madame Wardrobe, and they're all still making material to this day. Jerry Orbach, David Ogden Stiers, and Angela Lansbury, they're all gone, but they made countless reprisals in their lifetimes for the sequels and spin-offs.
Exactly. Beauty and the Beast, The Enchanted Christmas, Belle's Magical World, Belle's Tales of Friendship, and their countless appearances on the Disney Channel show The House of Mouse. It was basically a show about Mickey having a big band nightclub and all the characters hang out there.
Now, what about video games? Disney's also brought a lot of their characters back for these video games, like Kingdom Hearts and I don't know what else.
Yes, but Kevin, think about it. Nobody's going to want to play as Belle. Look at all these books. Let's see. I have read The Daring Journey. Shall we read The Wise Wanderer? Or
Well, what about the Beast? You mean you wouldn't want to play as the Beast?
that might be interesting.
You listening, Disney?
Focus.
So did you see the live-action remake?
Nope.
What do you think of that style? Live-action remakes of the animated classics?
We're not opening that can of bees today.
Can of Bees?
People aren't that scared of worms, but bees?
Well, I mean, you sounded like you were about to say cannabis with a fancy French accent.
Well, maybe appropriate for this episode. Don't you think Belle's dad ever lit up?
I mean, Maurice, it would explain a lot. But you know what's interesting about Disney classics?
What?
They hit differently when you're an adult. I mean, we know from experience that this isn't how the world works.
I agree, but what's specifically in this film?
Apart from the magic, first off, for me, Lumiere, the candle, he should have burned the castle down at several points. It's several scenes in the movie. It's like this place should have gone up in smoke.
Really? And what's with Chip? Mrs. Potts references his brothers and sisters, but we don't see any of them in human form at the end. Just Chip.
Yeah, and when Belle and Maurice are locked in the cellar near the end, Chip gets them out with the wood chopping machine that Maurice invented. How did he know how to use this? How did he know what it could do?
And speaking of Maurice, why would the Beast do a prisoner swap? Wouldn't he just imprison them both together? And we have to talk about it, Kevin.
Talk about what?
The Stockholm Syndrome angle. People love to take that with this movie all the time.
I mean, there have been plenty of discussions about whether or not Belle has Stockholm Syndrome because she's falling in love with her captor.
Well, first off, I don't think many people go about those discussions correctly. It's not even an actual psychiatric diagnosis. It's a concept that got its name from a botched bank robbery in Sweden. A lot of people think it's when the captor develops feelings of their captor because they are reliant on them, but that's a big misunderstanding of the term. During that robbery in Stockholm, the hostages were very upset with how indifferent the police were with their lives during the rescue and refused to testify afterwards because really their values were more aligned with the robbers than the police that were supposed to be saving them. And now, with that out of the way, I say she actually might have it. My mom pointed out to me when I told her we were doing this film, Belle is a bit of an outsider on her own town. I mean, they set that up with the entire opening number. And when she meets the Beast, she sees a lot of herself in him because they both have been alienated by society.
I mean, I know some people have said that Belle was a metaphor for an abusive relationship, that like someone sticking around like, I can change him.
Yeah, and again, this is a Disney movie. People read way too much into this stuff.
But people bring this up because women have historically been expected to tame aggressive men. I mean, obviously, Well, that's not the case here for an abusive relationship. She's not trembling and submissive. She's laying down the rules throughout her stay. She is effectively challenging him, and she's like drawing lines, everything.
Yeah, and the beast eventually lets her leave, and he only then came chasing after her because she was going to be eaten by wolves.
Also, did you notice that the wolves have yellow eyes? I mean, that was just so unsettling.
You mean like this? I mean, the setup with her in the dungeon would obviously be problematic as a start to any relationship, but I think most abusive relationships probably do start off somewhat happy, and as time goes on, it gets worse.
Well, getting back to how we first said Disney hits different as an adult, we have to remember that the first audience included adults, and the critics loved it. I've got Janet Maslin from the New York Times. She's basically saying lightning has struck twice for Disney after the success of The Little Mermaid. Roger Ebert has a lot to say about this. Quote, Beauty and the Beast reaches back to an older and healthier Hollywood tradition in which the best writers, musicians, and filmmakers are gathered for a project on the assumption that a family audience deserves great entertainment too. He compared it to Disney classics like Pinocchio and Snow White, and that is certainly how the world knows that Disney is back on top.
And how did they do with awards? Because this was groundbreaking as a movie. It was the first animated one to be nominated for the Best Picture Oscar.
Oh, you're absolutely right. But do you know who they lost to?
Who?
The Silence of the Lambs.
Oh, another heartwarming fairy tale.
Funny you should say that, because on two levels, it is kind of a fairy tale to begin with. But Anthony Hopkins, Hannibal Lecter himself, when he first saw the title, he thought it was going to be some children's family movie.
And then he read the script?
Yep.
Did it win any other awards, though?
It won the Best Original Score for Alan Menken, and 3 of their songs were nominated for Best Original Song, which included Be Our Guest, Belle, and the winner, Beauty and the Beast.
That song is such a downer. I mean, come on. It kills all of the energy. We have so many other good songs in the film where it stands. But they also cut a song that I thought was a bit better, Human Again, and they kept this monotonous, perpetual snooze fest.
Hey, Disney, you listening? Coda has an opinion.
Kind of what we do on this show. All right. So you have the next film. What is your pick? Are we going to do another fairy tale?
Well, I guess so. It's set in a castle-like place in the woods during the depths of winter.
And what would that be?
The Shining.
Holy shit. What a pivot. I think I just got a whiplash going from Disney to Stephen King, and not the warm and fuzzy Stephen King we got in Shawshank.
That's not warm and fuzzy.
Fine. It's inspirational and ultimately a pretty feel-good film.
Interesting you say that, because Stanley Kubrick told Stephen King that he thought supernatural stories were inherently optimistic because it implies that we survive death.
Yeah, and King even objected to that because he said, what about hell?
Ugh, whatever.
Well, that's going to do it for us today. I'm Coda Ewell.
And I'm Kevin Gainey. Tune in next time for The Shining.